Welcome back. Benue State, we've never seen it like this before. A spate of violence all around Benue, Plateau, but Benue State specifically. And what is most appalling is the statement of the president. The president tells the governor, go and reconcile. With who? The president calling the killings in Benue State farmers' headers clash. Really? The president speak like that? Or is it to speak venom and seed poured on those that want to disintegrate this country? I saw when the killings in Uromi happened the last time, the president gave an order to the governor and to the security agency. He said, fish them out. Is it different from Benue of today that we are seeing? Okafor.
Yeah, I think about 2-3 weeks ago, they said the army chief moved to...
2 weeks ago.
So did he move in there too?
He moved back too.
You see, these are people that are Nigerians. Their life is what is being treated like it is a movie. You know, I was giving credit to this government in that the body language so far hadn't supported this kind of nonsense. I keep saying a murder is a murder. What you call clash is when two people are fighting. When a certain person carries weapon, invade people in the night, unprotected villagers, unprotected harmless, remote farmers who are sleeping or were sleeping and invaded. That is not a clash. That is murder. That is a coordinated murder. And they should be apprehended and be tried. Okay? They should be, if they get them on ground, they should be, our military forces should be able to exchange fire for fire. But if they're able to apprehend them, because once we have been able to catch somebody alive, then he has to go through the court. That is nothing classy about it. Yeah, maybe when they move backward, they know the reason. We don't know. When he talks about reconciliation, we don't know who they are going to reconcile with.
That's now, what I want to...
And we also can't be having it both ways. Listen to me. When they say, oh, these people going to kill these villagers are herdsmen, yeah. They will say, no, they are not herdsmen. They are not herdsmen. Herdsmen will say, no.
We are not the one.
We are not the one. But now, when it comes to reconciliation or talk, you say it is herders,
farmers. So,
but the people are asking that to reconcile, say they are not the one. So herdsmen have to come out and say, we are the one killing villagers, and this is what we want. They will not know that in Nigeria, whether you have right to take over what belongs to another person because you want it. Because I want your Mercedes car, I want your microphone, I can bring it here and join mine. So we will not know the laws really that we are all facing. Because you can't be saying, no, it's headers when they want to reconcile, but when they do the attack, it's no longer headers. They are not the one. So you can't be having it both ways. If the president knows who to reconcile with, he should even do that. Let me tell you. You forgot that he moved into River State to maintain law and order. Benue State is a state in Nigeria. He can move in to restore law and order.
Now, Benue State, as it is, Philip, is I don't know if you watch some of those videos. Wanton destruction of human life, no regard from human life. In fact, from a source that I heard, unconfirmed, says in a particular family, 45 people were killed. They will haul them into one room, put fire in them. People were burnt beyond recognition. By now, a state of emergency should be declared in the true sense of it in Benue State. Now, these headers will talk. Are they invisible? Do they have a track or a trail of where they come from? Is it through the bush or something? Is it a mysterious stuff? Nobody has ever been held accountable. Do you think the president is serious with this?
Well, I think Mr. President is very serious about it because a week ago or 2 weeks ago, the Chief of Army Staff moved into Benue. And just over the weekend, we heard that there was an attack and some soldiers were involved.
Okay, Philip, hold it. One second. No, hold on. Are you telling me that the Chief of Army Staff was in Benue when this one was happening?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, the Chief of Army Staff had not moved back from Benue. What I heard in the news that he had moved into Benue to ensure there's peace and security. And that this attack that happened over the weekend or during the weekend, some soldiers' life were
just only one.
Yeah, it's one. But I soldier, whether it's one or every human life is important.
Yeah.
And to think that a soldier, a man with a Nigerian uniform,
serving the country,
was involved in such act of dehumanization and killing is sudden. So I think Mr. President is serious. What is not clear is whether the people that are carrying out the order of Mr. President are serious. Like he said, when 14 persons were killed in Uromi, it was a marching order. But what we have in Benue State, for the past 3 months, we have recorded over 500 lives
being lost
in Benue State. I think what the seriousness of Mr. President is for the Chief of Army Staff to move in, and they have moved in, and the killing has not stopped. It's still ongoing. So when Mr. President said they should go and reconcile, I begin to wonder who are those reconciling. Like he said, when they say who is killing who, we don't know who is killing who, but from what we read in the paper, maybe the farmers and the herders, but we have not heard in any way that the farmers kill some numbers of herders. It's only the villagers who are the farmers who are suffering, damages, death. So I don't know who they are going to reconcile. I think that word is not very strong enough coming from Mr. President. Mr. President should have ordered the governor and all the security apparatus to ensure that those who are, responsible for this inhuman act are being efficient and then peace restored. But when you say the governor should go and reconcile, what power does the governor have to reconcile this?
With who?
With who? Who
are you reconciling with? Now, Okafor, I want to bring something to you because we have seen this in spreading, like you put an oil on the ground, it begins to spread. Asiwaju became governor of Lagos State and became the godfather of politics in Lagos. As it is, APC has all the local government, everything in Lagos State. We move to Rivers. Something like that is being established in Rivers as we speak. That's what caused the emergency rule in Rivers. In Benue, the SGF has been a governor 8 years. He put the other former governor, I can't remember his name now.
Otom.
No, not Otom. There's the one before Otom.
Suswan.
He had issues with Suswan. Suswan left. Otom came in. Suswan was PDP. Otom became APC. And they won the state. He had a lot of serious issues with Otom. As we speak, the SGF, the Minister of, Water Resources, if I'm correct, they are all from Benue. And they have been fighting Hyacinth Alia. When a governor comes in, he becomes the chief executive officer of the state. And to a large extent, the SGF hasn't spoken anything about it. All the many appointees that we have from Rivers, Benue State, they've not said anything. Are they allowing this to go on because they're fighting with Hyacinth Alia?
Well, I will try as much as possible not to link any of those because I don't have the
full information. Do you know why I said that, sir?
Yeah.
Because the president said go and reconcile.
Yeah.
He never said
He never said it's vague.
Which people
who to reconcile.
I don't want
to preempt the president. So if the president tells the governor to go and reconcile, it's possible he believes the governor knows what he's talking about. And if that is to be responsible for the killing, they should be held accountable. You see, let's not pamper this. These are people's life. Let me say, the life of the former governors, the life of the SSG, the SFG, the life of the minister you talked about, is not worth more than the life of those farmers.
Yes.
It's not, nobody's life is worth more than another life. So if truly there is anything that has to do with the reconciliation of any kind of person that has led to this carnage, they should be held responsible. You see, if you're angry, don't resort to self-help. If you think you want somebody's, let's keep it to farmer and herders, you want somebody's land to feed your animal, you don't resort to self-help. You either buy or you resort to federal government. We eventually own all land or state. The state government own all land by Land Use Act.
Yeah.
Get to the state can say, okay, oh, we know you register this, okay, take this area. These areas we can give to you. If they need to make some amends in picking land for some people to satisfy certain interests, they pay them. People can even sell willingly. You don't go and invade people and start killing them. This is not what is happening. It's not about, I've never believed that somebody that needed a place to feed animals will not go in the night to kill somebody. Who will eat the animal? Who will eat the bloody animal?
The animals are now higher than the humans.
So who will eat the animal? For whatever it is. So murder in our constitution, killing somebody is a murder. Those people should be apprehended. And anything negotiating with them and discussing with them, to me, is an insult. You don't go killing people and they call you to a table to be negotiating with you. That's nonsense.
You even need to know who you are negotiating with.
That's nonsense. What are you negotiating for? So I should kill 10 people here and you come in to start negotiating. What am I fighting for? What am I fighting for?
Now, Philip, in rounding up, the Benue State government, what should they do? The federal government, what have they done?
Well, in this circumstance, I don't think the Benue State governor can do much. They look helpless. Because why I say so is that the security apparatus is not in his hand. He has no control over the security apparatus of the state. The police, the army, the Air Force, what have you, they are being controlled by the federal government. I think sincerely, the only thing he can do is to appeal passionately to the federal government to come to his aid to ensure that peace is restored in his domain.
If I want to ask you further, does a state that belongs to the federation and a federation that has the power to maintain the territorial integrity of that state and the security of the people, should the state government be begging, or is their responsibility?
Well, you see, the state is the immediate person on ground, is to feed the federal government of the happening in the state. Based on that, the federal government cannot come in. If the state is at peace, if the governor is not complaining, and the federal government doesn't see any reason to come in, they won't come in. But if the state, even though the federal government and the state make an appeal that, look, we need help, I think it's add more to it. That's the point I'm coming from.
Do you think what Philip said is what should be done?
Yeah, but
responsibility
but more sincerely, I think the president, when he makes a public statement of reconciliation like that without us having the details, it puts us into confusion. Yeah. If he thinks it's not what we should know, he should privately tell Alia, the governor, to call the parties. But once it is what we are supposed to know, don't make it vague and confuse us, because what we saw there is a carnage. What we saw there is cleansing of people. What we saw there is killing. What we saw there is a bloody attack that should not happen unchecked. You know, we don't know how these people are moving their arms and all that. And the security apparatus, like he said, is with the federal government. Unfortunately, the governor is the chief security officer of the state. A very confusing system we are running. You know, I have always maintained that the state should have, yes, maybe not the kind of armaments that the federal powers should have, but the state should have its own policing that have some level of armament and control system. And also, apart from the arm, there are soft security networks. You know, drones, surveillance systems, reporting systems, which I think any governor today can have in the absence of the armament, you know, the kinetic ones.
Well, we can't discuss further than this because we heard also some other information that people...
Mind you, this was the same governor that claimed there was no problem in Benue.
When Peter B were to visit.
I will end on that note. All right, we'll be right back. I'm sure maybe one of our voting arena will be able to get a guest that will come in, probably Godwin Honor, to tell us more about the happenings in Benue. But we'll end this one, but now it's still news inside on Landslide News.